I want to take a moment and just focus upon min width and max width. And so a lot of students, or some students, always get confused with min width and max width. So we have in our media queries both we could specify the media type and the expression, 0 or more, or optional of any of that. And so when you have min width and max width, like min width is, the way you should think about it is from this minimum width upwards, right? So it sets the minimum width. Max width is from this maximum width. I'm only going to apply these styles up to this maximum width. So it's from that maximum width downward. So this is the maximum width at which up to which they get applied. This is the minimum width at which we start applying them. And then that goes upward. So that's the way you just have to think about it in your head. And I've written this out so that you could pause this video right here and read through this. There's the definition that I just shared with you. There's a definition of the viewport. And then there's a link to the MDN documentation. Always a good thing to do. Check out the documentation. Read it and make sure it makes sense to you. When you look at the documentation, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on app media as opposed to including it through the link tag in your HTML. And that's because documentation isn't always as quick to update as we would like. All right, so here are some examples, right, of using our link tag in the HTML to include a media query. And so there I'm including the media query right there. And this is going from 600 pixels higher. So at a minimum, this is when we start applying it, and then it goes upwards. This one is going from 900 pixels down. So max width, 900 pixels. We're going to apply this up to a maximum width of 900 pixels. So hopefully it's helping you here and have that make sense. Hopefully it just totally makes sense to you, but there's some people who flip that in their head somehow. All right, so let's see a couple of examples. Under 032 media queries, we have min width and then max width. And, notice here how I'm, modularizing my code, and I'm separating the code into the chunks where, it's right here's the CSS that's going to be applied when, my viewport is 600 pixels plus. And so that's only going to come to people, that's only going to be sent to people who meet that criteria, which is great. Why make people get that extra data if they aren't going to use it? So we have just a basic page, and here's the link where we include the media query, right? And so just kind of take a look at that. So it's media equals, and then double quotes. And between the double quotes, when you have an expression, your expressions go inside parentheses. So that's the way you write that. So at 600 pixels or more, this person should be read. Main CSS just sets font size, and then here, right, it's just regular CSS for that. You don't need that MQ. That's just my naming convention, because then all my media queries are grouped together. Come up with whatever naming convention makes sense to you. So if I had a lot of pages, I might have a prefix of the page. This might be main-MQ, so all my main stuff's together. All of my contact stuff is together. All of my about stuff is together. So just do whatever naming convention makes sense to you for your file names, but definitely think about it because that'll help you keep your code organized. Let's just preview this. So it'll be read at 600 pixels or more. And we must be at 600 pixels or more. There's that break. And again, you could see if you look right here in Chrome and you have developer tools open and you move, you could see the pixels. Now, just because I'm showing you this doesn't mean it's going to be there when you look at it, because at one point Chrome dropped that feature, but then they put it back in. I guess a lot of people complained, right? But if they do take something away, which was here when I made the training, and you can't find it, then you just got to find a new way to do it. And when they took this one away, there was a new way to do it, but it was weird. So that's why they put back the old way, I guess. So now max width, let's take a look at max width. Open up all those files. And notice here max media query 0 through 900. And so that'll keep everything organized, and I can just kind of look what's being applied as the screen size gets bigger. And so just the same thing, I'm read at 900 pixels or less, right? But change text. It's got 2 H1s. And then here is how you would do it if we were going to include it in our CSS, just at media, max width, and then we put it there. But this is crap. I don't like this method at all. I don't even like the way it looks. I don't know, it's just weird to me. And then media query here, right? That'll be called down because this is where it is. So when, up to a maximum width of 900 pixels, this is going to be sent to the client. And so if their screen is, right, well, for everybody up to 900 pixels, if their screen is bigger than 900 pixels, they won't get this. If their screen's bigger than 900 pixels, they won't get this. So let's just verify that. See, it gets confusing, the max width thing, especially like the way I just said it there. Well, that's a little confusing. If their screen's bigger than 900, they don't get that code, right? It doesn't get applied. So that's how you do min width to max width, and hopefully that helps set in your head that for 600 pixels and higher, right? We say at a minimum at 600 pixels we're going to start applying this, and then upwards, right? So at a minimum and up, and for max width, right, we're going to apply this up to a maximum width of 900 pixels. I guess you could say we're going to apply this down to a minimum width of 600 pixels. You could think about it that way too. So that's min width and max width.